how this big human cycle is rotating, and it takes 5,000 years to complete one cycle, which is called one kalpa, right? And it is referred to as Swadershan Chakra or Sudarshan Chakra, which means this this chakra has benefit. Su means benefit. The Sudarshan means holds benefit for all of us, and we understood that it is moving in a cyclic pattern, like in other cycles of time, cycles of water, like the cycles of birth and death. Likewise, this cycle of bigger human cycle, where which helps us to understand as to how the souls are rotating in this bigger cycle, eternal cycle. So it takes 5,000 years to complete one cycle, and it is divided into four equal halves, which is, firstly, it is called the golden period, the golden age, which comprises of 1250 years. Then the second half is called the silver age, which is again, the duration of which is 1250 years. Then the third half, which is referred to as the copper age, again it is made up of 1250 years. Then comes the iron age, which is again 1250 years. So altogether, the sum total of this entire cycle, one cycle to be completed, it takes 5,000 years only. Many people have given different numbers in the past about the human cycle, and many scriptures have been, telling us about different um, figures of the human cycle. But truly speaking, what God reveals through the human medium of Brahma is it takes 5,000 years to complete one cycle. So before the Kali Yuga ends, it gives, there is a short period between the ending of Kali Yuga and the beginning of Satyug, which is referred to as the confluence age. There is no mentioning about this age in any of our scriptures. It's a short period where God incarnates or comes onto this earth, takes a human medium called Brahma, reveals the knowledge, and transforms human souls, ordinary human souls, into deities. Mm. He dispels the darkness of Kalyug and brings about the light of Satyug for us. That is why this confluence age is called the Kalyanikari Sangam Yug, or the beneficial Sangam Yug. So now is the time when we souls in the confluence age, those who recognize God, are no more in Kalyug. They have moved one step forward to the confluence age. So now is the time to experience the connection with God, the eternal parents of we souls. So this is the most beautiful time, the most wonderful time in this entire period, where nowhere in the entire cycle we get to meet our spiritual parents. That is why this time, this phase in which we are now, is the most important phase of our human cycle. And the coming age, the good news also we understood that it is the golden age. After Kalyug ends, after the destruction of the old world called Kalyug happens, all souls fly back home in that point form to the soul world, and stay there for a short while, experience the relaxation without the body there. And then, according to the actions performed, uh, the souls come to the according to the actions performed in Sangam Yug, according to the cleansing which happens, or how much we have purified the soul. Based on that, the next birth, the decision of the next birth happens, whether you will come in the beginning of the golden period, the middle or the end of golden period, or the beginning, middle or end of the silver period. Somebody is asking in the chat box, what is the duration of Sangam Yug? Well, that exact figure is not been given by God to us. He just told us that this is made up of 5,000 years, and this is like a extension, a slight extension of Kali Yuga. like a leap yoke, where it is a little bit of extension. But the thing, more than the figure, which we need to understand is the importance of this period. Even though it's a short period, I don't say that it is 20 years, 40 years, 50 years, but it's a short period where we need to realize ourselves and connect the soul with the supreme soul, draw the energy from him, purify the soul, cleanse the soul, and make it ready or make it eligible to go into the coming world, coming period, which is the golden period. So suppose if time was given of the confluence age, uh, we would have become time conscious. For that sole reason, maybe we are not given the figure. More than being time conscious, we have to be soul conscious at the moment, because the more we are moving towards the real self, that is the soul, the more we can realize God in our lives. So that is the reason there is no mentioning about the time or the uh, duration of Sangam Yug, but it is a short period where we have to, what we need to do is more important in the Sangam Yug. We have to make the most out of this auspicious time, use God in all our dealings, enjoy this beautiful company of God, understand who He truly is, how powerful He is, and how that power can be incorporated in the soul, or the battery of the soul can be charged. Fine. So today we will understand that human soul, this tiny point of light, how it is incarnating or taking rebirths. The concept of rebirth, I suggest Sister Pratyusha to turn on the PowerPoint for me, the presentation of rebirth. Okay, so firstly, why rebirth? Why do we have to come into birth and death and birth and death and this cycle of rebirth? So here it has been shown that it is an eternal thing. Just like day and night is an eternal thing, we cannot stop the day to come after the night, or we cannot stop the night to come after the day. Likewise, rebirth is also a part of the human cycle. It is an eternal law of the human cycle. This human cycle, the Kalpa, the Swadershan Chakra, is eternally going on, which means nobody knows how many cycles we have completed and how many furthermore is left over. Likewise, with similarly, there is the rebirth law also. So souls, we souls which do not die, it is the body which perishes. It is eternally taking one birth, then playing its role, leaving the body, taking another birth, and this eternally goes on and on. And what counts for rebirth is the karma accountability also. In order to settle our karma, we have to take rebirth. One is, it is the law of the cycle. Second reason for rebirth is, I have certain accounts with people whom I come into with close connections. I have some accounts made up with them for, and if I don't settle them before I leave the body, the a karmic account gets carried forward along with the birth, and it has to settle that in the next birth. For that reason also, karma is also accountable for rebirth, and then we are actors in this world drama. Just like the actors, every single day go out for their acting, to earn their living, to sustain themselves and their families. Likewise, we actors also for are in this law. There is a law of this drama also, which says that it is going on and on. Some dramas are of 2 years, 3 years. The actors continuously go to their shooting. Some dramas are for a longer period of time. Likewise, this drama of wherein we souls are playing our parts is eternally going on. And as actors, we have to play our role every single day. For that reason, rebirth is also required. Then, rebirth of human souls, which is human soul enters a mother's womb, then, slowly grows into a child, a bigger child, then adult, then an aged woman, and then dies. This is how the cycle of rebirth is rotating. Rebirth of human souls can be in different genders. The difference is, we can, let us say I'm in a female body in this birth. There are good chances that if my soul leaves this body and enters a womb, goes and enters another body in the next birth, there are good chances that I might take a male body. I might be of a different nationality in my next birth. I could be of a different religion, social status, or of different abilities. So that's the only difference which can happen. But human souls take human bodies only. That we will understand from here. Just like from a seed of an apple tree grows. As is the seed, so is the tree. From an apple seed, you don't expect bananas coming out, you don't expect oranges coming out. Always you know that what seed you have sown, it will reap the same fruits. Likewise, we souls are also like seeds. If we look at it in this manner, we we are like seeds which has the knowledge of the karma and impressions of sanskaras. So it takes a human body only, because as is the seed, so is the fruits. Likewise, if you look at the soul as a seed, it has recording of human sanskaras. It always takes a human body only. Let us see how. Human souls take rebirth as humans only, but never in other species. In many faiths and there are many mindsets or different people talking about human souls taking births into different species. But actually speaking, that doesn't happen. We will see in the coming slide with lot of proofs that human soul always takes a human body only. But from where this concept came, that after taking births in many species, only then we get one birth as a human birth, and that is a very rare birth. So we have to make the most or enjoy the most out of this one birth. So where did this concept come from? In the olden days, in order to bring about a check over our actions, in order to create a fear that human souls do not perform sinful actions, the elderly people used to, or the people in those period, in order to bring fear over action or check over action, they started uh, giving such statements that if you don't perform good actions, you will be born like a cat or a rat or a dog or any other species. So out of fear, people used to have a check over their actions, so that, if I don't pay attention to my action, I will definitely, have to experience the next birth into different species, which is not so good for human souls. So with that fear, there was a check over the actions. So that's how this concept of human souls taking rebirths into different species started. But let us see how this concept does not fully, explain the real truth. Rebirth evidences. Now, how do we understand that human soul takes only a human body? What is the proof for this? There are three proofs shown over here, like child prodigy. Many young children, we see that they are performing lots of, they are so intelligent that their IQ level is so high that they're able to answer any question asked, like the Hindustan's Google boy. And the next picture shows about this little one called Inan Celesti, General Gibbs in physics. Then there are few other examples of children of very young age who are excelling in a particular field. That itself shows that human souls have the impressions or sanskaras of humans only, which unfolds when the soul takes the other body as a human being only. Then the second proof, which is past life regression. How many of you have heard about this concept of past life regression? Yeah, can you show your hand or speak by unmuting yourself? Have you heard about past life regressions?
Just heard, but we don't know much about it.
Much about it. Okay. So,
Okay.
yes, please. Who's talking?
I've heard about it too, sister.
Fine,
Thank you.
fine. All right. So, there are many therapists now who takes you in order to heal your emotions. They take you through a process called past life regression, which means they take you by giving you some guided thoughts. They take you into your past birth. They are capable of taking you, and the concept there is taking you to the past birth, understanding what pain you are holding from there, and then how it is reflecting in your present birth and how you can release. But actually speaking, it's not so easy to release any sorrow which the soul is holding from the past birth. Not many successful cases of past birth regression. I mean, I have not much heard about it, but I know the process. People have spoken to me in person about what exactly this process, who have undergone this, have spoken in detail about it. But when coming to the healing part, healing of that pain or sorrow or that emotion which is troubling them, that was not a great possibility through this process. That's what I heard from people. But my question here is, whenever uh, somebody is taken to their past birth, of course they speak a few things, and which later on, when the person who is guiding you through this process tells you, you can relate to it in your present birth. But nobody ever has mentioned that they were a cat or a rat or a snake or any other animal in their past birth. So again, past life regression process also, you can ask any of the therapists. None of them have ever got any answers that we were any animal or any other species in our previous birth. Every single individual mentioned about their human existence only. Whether it was a male body or a female body in the past birth, or many births also, they take you in your past, which is many many births behind. But nowhere there are any evidences recorded. You can go check, google for yourself and see. Nowhere there are any evidences or proofs given by anybody that they are into any other species. Again, this is also another proof for us. Then the third important proof is, this is how the therapy happens, past life regression. They take you into a process, a guided process, and people, to a great extent, many, go to their past, and at times they come back even more painful, because let us say if my past was really, really very bad, and I had lot of experienced lot of pain in my past, even though my present is not that much painful, I carry or I bring that pain into my present moment. That is also one drawback of this therapy, which I've heard. I've not personally gone through. So what I heard from people, I wanted to share with you. Then the third important one is evidence of rebirth is past life memories. So many times you might have also heard that some people have past birth memories. Many people say that I was so and so, I was murdered, or I was brutally killed, or I was cheated, my properties were snatched, and they get to see their past. Not everybody, but some have such deeper impressions of the acts performed in the previous birth, because of which the impression being so deep that even though the soul moves on to the next birth, it is very much in their subconscious mind, and which pops up in their present life from time to time, and which causes lot of disturbance. Those who have past birth memories are kind of disturbed people, because they can't do anything, go there and set right things, and they when they come to know about what happened to them in the past, they are confused as to what they need to do in the present. So the point is, whoever have shared their past birth memories never ever mentioned that they were into any other species. You can again Google this and say for yourself, not one single person who have past birth memories have ever shared their experience about being an animal or being into any other species. Again, this also is a big proof that human souls always take a human body, because the human soul has recording of human sanskaras. So when the soul goes and enters another body, the sanskara, the folder opens up, and we start behaving according to our sanskaras. Suppose if at all it happens that human soul enters a let us say a cat, so it has sanskaras of human beings. It should start behaving like humans in the form of a cat, but which never happens. A cat behaves in its own way, humans behave in its own way, right, in its own typical way. So but in order to create a fear factor, the old mindset of people was that we souls enter into many species, and then we take one birth as human, whereas we take many births as humans, and today we will understand how many. If many births, then how many is the maximum number and how many is the minimum number in this cycle of 5,000 years. We will understand that today in the form of a ladder, which explains how the rise and downfall of Bharat. This land was initially known as Bharat, which is now known as India. So how the rise and downfall of Bharat happens, it is very beautifully explained in the form of a ladder, and also the concept of birth. Okay, I suggest sister to play the next PowerPoint for me. So in this 5,000 years, we will understand today as to how many births maximum a soul takes and how many minimum births, because every soul has some minimum births and some maximum births. Maximum births are for those who enter the cycle right from the beginning, which is right from the beginning of the golden period. Okay. So here we go, the story. Let us understand it in the form of a story of rise and downfall of Bharat along 84 births. So truly speaking, a human soul which enters the cycle right from the beginning of the golden period, which is, let us say, one beginning point. Otherwise, this is going on like a cycle, but somewhere if we say we make a beginning, if golden age is like the beginning of this cycle, a soul which enters the uh, uh, a human body and takes a birth in the cycle, it takes maximum 84 births only. And how this 84 births is divided into this cycle of 4 ages, we will understand today properly. So initially, there was the golden period, which was known as paradise, which was the kingdom of the deities, and the religion, the one religion which existed was the deity religion. Human souls were in human bodies, but because the soul and the body both were pure, they were called as deities. And the battery of the soul is 100% charged over here. That is why these souls are called Sato Pradhan souls. So in the golden period, which is of 1250 years, it is called the Sun dynasty, or the souls which take birth from there, from that beginning point of the human cycle, they are full of all the divine powers and qualities. They are few in numbers, very few souls with lot of abundance. There's nothing lacking. There is lot of peace, love, happiness, no traces of sorrow because there are no vices within the soul. And the natural consciousness here is the consciousness of the soul. Just like now, the natural consciousness of everybody is I means the body. Nobody taught us, but very naturally I thought that I means the body. So, whereas in heaven or in the golden period which once existed on this land called Bharat, all souls naturally had the consciousness that we are souls and we are all same. So with that concept of soul, nobody had to worship anybody. All souls were worship worthy because there was no sorrow. So there was no traces of bhakti, puja or any worship happening. Then comes the Treta Yuga. After Satyug, the golden period, the silver age starts, which is referred to in Hindi as Treta Yuga. Again, that is also of 1250 years. We understood about it. And slowly, the deity kingdom from the golden age, slowly, whilst stepping down, taking births after the births, the deity souls come into the silver age, where to a small extent there is depletion of powers in the soul, and to some extent the the celestial, it becomes from 16 celestial in the golden age, the soul becomes 14 celestial, mana from 16 kala sampurn to 14 kala. And in the golden period, the maximum birth a soul takes in 1250 years is 8 births. So 1250 divided by 8. So roughly on an average, each individual lives up to 150 years. Average age is 150 years because in a duration of 1250 years, one soul takes maximum 8 births only. So which means the lifespan is very, very high over here. There is nothing called sudden deaths. Only after one soul finishes 150 years in one birth, it leaves the body, and the process of leaving the body is also not very painful like we see in our present world now. It is, people cry, people due to attachments, there is a lot of sorrow experienced, both the one who has left the body and the people around him also experience a lot of sorrow because of the vice called attachment there. But since there is no vices in the golden period, there is no attachment, and we have love for the other soul, the process of death also is not very painful. It is merely a change of costume, or it is just considered as moving on to the next journey. And then the people around will wish you a happy journey there and happily send you off. So the process of death is also a happy process there. And the word death also does not exist because there is a lot of pain attached to it, a lot of sorrow attached to it. Whereas there, it is just merely a change of costume and nothing more than that. So the souls there, being in the consciousness of the soul, they also know that it is eternal, the soul never dies, we're just moving on in a journey called life, to our next phase, to the next birth. So happily, all souls leave the body. So the entire phase of 1250 years, a particular soul takes 8 births only and experiences lot of happiness, peace, pure love, unconditional love, and full of values and divine powers within the soul. And gradually, when this soul enters Treta Yuga, slowly taking births after births, it enters the Treta Yuga, which is of 1250 years. So here, the births increases, which is 1250 years may one soul takes maximum of 12 births, whereas it is 8 births like it is shown in this picture. Sister, can you put the spotlight? Yeah, here in the picture you can see it is 8 births, whereas in Treta Yuga, I'm not able to, we will go behind once again. Sorry, this slide is not going behind. Can you help me put it behind? Okay, yeah, we got the picture. So in golden age it is 8 births, and then in the silver age it becomes 12 births. So the births have increased, and the duration is 1250 years. In a duration of 1250 years, it is 12 births. So if you divide it, 1250 divided by 12 births, average lifespan 100 to 110, we can say. Lifespan decreases a little bit because the power of the soul decreases, because it has traveled in time. From the golden age it came up till the silver age, so it has experienced many births by then. So that is why slightly the energy of the soul depletes and the number of births increase. Next comes Dwapar Yuga, which is the Copper Age. Yesterday we understood that in the Copper Age, again, which is of 1250 years, this is the period where devotion starts. And devotion also starts with the devotion of one. There is only one God during that period. A Shivling, initially the puja bhakti starts with the bhakti of Lord Shiva. Not knowing the true image of God in a Shivling form, there is the puja of Shiva starting in the beginning of Copper Age, and then slowly coming down the ladder, the puja bhakti of different deities also emerge. So the deity souls who were worship worthy in the golden period pass through the silver period, and now they come to the copper period, which is called Dwapar Yuga. Forgetting their past, just like I don't remember my one birth only, what I was in the past, right? So the deity souls also, once they take births after births in the golden period and enter the silver, and after that come to the copper age, then forgetting their past, they start making their own images, their own idols, their own pictures, and start worshipping them. Because by this time, all the deity souls become powerless, or the energy within the soul depletes. That is why the soul looks for sources of power. So not knowing that we were powerful once in the past, the same deity souls make their own images and start worshipping them, seeking power from them. Okay, so that is where bhakti emerges, because uh, the soul now experiences body consciousness in this period. In copper age there is a shift of consciousness, whereas half the cycle in the golden and the silver age together, there is the natural consciousness of soul consciousness, which is a very beautiful feeling, a comfortable feeling for the soul. It never experiences discomfort, no traces of sorrow, suffering at all. Whereas here, because of the shift in the consciousness, the soul experiences sorrow, and it experiences powerless or weak within itself. That is when we look up to the higher, the supreme soul, and we make images of the supreme in the form of Shivaling. Then after that, slowly puja bhakti gets expanded into different idols of the deities also are worshipped. First, the creator of the deity souls is being worshipped when worship starts, which is God Shiva. Then the ones whom he has purified or made them into deities, then those souls are being worshipped in this period of 1250 years. And here, coming to this era, the births increases further. It was 8 births maximum in the golden period. It was 12 births in the silver period. And now coming to Dwapar Yuga, or the copper age, the births increased to 21 births. So if you divide 1250 years by 21, so the average lifespan again decreases to some extent. Okay, so this is, and the purity of the soul is lost. It starts become impure because there is the entry door opened up to the vices within the soul. This is the point from where the vices entered mankind, which is the, in a way we can say, the vices entered the soul, because that's where the vices in the form of viruses affect the soul or weaken the soul or make it helpless. Then coming to the Iron Age or Kali Yuga, as the word, so, as the name goes, Kali Yuga, which means Kala Kalesh Kayug. In Hindi, it is hell, or lot of sorrow, suffering being experienced in this period. So coming to Kali Yuga, after the worship of Shiva in the Copper Age and the deities later after him, coming to Kali Yuga, the worship of 5 elements also begins, because the soul is not satisfied by by the attainments, which is not enough to sustain itself in the copper age. Then it starts looking to more options of how to gain that power, not satisfied with the devotion of the deity souls or the devotion of the one, because there is no clear picture about God in that period, not knowing the true introduction of him. So we were in search of as to where we can associate ourselves and empower ourselves. That search led us to, you know, uh, again start worshipping the 5 elements also. We thought God was in 5 elements, and because they were providing us, giving us some solutions in life, so we started worshipping the 5 elements. When coming to the Iron Age or Kali Yuga, the elements also were worshipped, thinking that there is God within them. But truly speaking, God is the creator, and the elements are there to provide or support these actors. Just like, there are supportive things for the actors to act properly. Likewise, we actors had these 5 elements to help us, to provide us some solutions as to help us move on in this journey or in this act of life. Then coming to Kali Yuga, which is also of 1250 years, the births reduce further and the human soul becomes more and more weaker here, because the traveler has come all the way from golden, silver, copper and iron age. Of course, many souls joined the initial travelers in time. Many souls joined in the silver age, and quite a few in the copper age. And when coming to the iron age, all the souls from the soul world has joined the initial travelers who started their journey right from the golden period. So that is why the population increases, the resources decreases, the sorrow suffering increases, and the births also increases by after coming to Kali Yuga. So the maximum births a soul takes in this period of 1250 coming to Kali Yuga is 42 births. So 8 in the golden period, 12 in the silver period, 21 in the copper period, and 42 in the iron period. So if you sum total, or you make a total out of 8, then 12, and then 21, which is 41 by then, and 42 births of Kali Yuga. 8 and 12 is 20, then 21 of copper age, which is 41, and then Kali Yuga is 42. So 41 plus 42 is 83 births. And there is one birth of the confluence age. where we get a chance to realize the higher self, the soul. We get a chance to realize God in our life, to a chance to purify the soul, empower the weak soul, make it free from the vices, and once again make it worship worthy. So this confluence age gives you one birth. So as you can see in the picture, after hell or parallelly beside hell is shown as Sangam Yug, which is the confluence age where we souls get to meet our spiritual parents. Why it is shown parallelly to the iron ages? The souls who do not realize God are still in Kali Yuga, and the souls who understand who we are, who God is, associate the soul with the Supreme Soul, and start the process of purification, have moved on from Kali Yuga to Sangam Yuga. They are no more in the darker period. Kali Yuga is shown blackish in color, which is the darker period where there is no light. Souls are ignorant, do not know what is the real purpose of life, and they are experiencing the darkness of sorrow and suffering. So that is why it is referred to as the darker period. So the ones who are there are also existing now at this point of time, and the ones who have started experiencing the light of God in their life are also parallelly existing at this point of time in this human cycle. So that is why Sangam is shown next to Kali Yuga. And when Kali Yuga or the souls coming down the ladder cannot go any further down, because the ladder has some point to stop somewhere, there is a point where you cannot go any further down. So there is the destruction of the old world shown right at the bottom. When Kali Yuga cannot go any further, or the vices have already reached its peak stage, cannot grow any further, mankind can, or the souls also cannot grow any further, birds also cannot grow any further, then the destruction of the old world happens, as shown in the small image. If you can see, the destruction also uh, it happens with the help of three factors. It's not very clearly in this picture, but I will verbally or orally tell you that the destruction, there are three factors which counts in the destruction of this world. The first is the civil wars with lot of bloodshed. The second factor is the natural calamities. Now we see nature in a very disturbing mode. And the third factor counts in the destruction of the world is nuclear weapons. So there is a lot of sophisticated nuclear weapons in the making. Many people are, many countries are investing some crores and crores of money to develop a lot of nuclear power. So all this destructive energies or these nuclear weapons will be used at some point, because that is what it is meant for or made for, So towards the ending of Kali Yuga, the destruction of this old world happens, and these three factors together will make it happen in order to cleanse this world, or finish or clean it up, so that again Satyug emerges once again onto this land called Bharat. So initially there was, imagine that entire land in the world is become one country without any divisions or partitions. So it is called Bharat initially. So this Bharat slowly after the silver period got divided into different countries. There were major division of countries which happened in the copper period, whereas it was undivided Bharat. Entire land of the world was called one country called Bharat. That is why this land is referred to as the ancient most land. Many archaeologists also believe that the we have a big long history, and no other country has the biggest history like our country. So there are many proofs where we can understand that we this land is the ancient most land. That is why from copper age the division of the countries happens from Bharat to different major countries, the bigger countries, and then from copper age coming to the iron age, the further divisions of countries into states happen, and towards the ending of Kali Yuga, the states are again further divided. What we have seen in our state also some years, 4-5 years back, that it was initially Andhra, only one state, and then it got divided into Andhra and Telangana. So the more the partitions, the more we can say that we are heading towards the ending of Kali Yuga. That's the sign explained by God that Kali Yuga is coming to an end. But what preparation we have to do before the closing scene or before the destruction of this old world called Kali Yuga is, we have to empower the soul, energize, again, fill the battery of the soul which is now discharged with God now, experience the power and light of God, cleanse the soul, purify the soul, finish all the burdens and sins which is acquired in the soul, and then be prepared to go back home, which in the near future we all have to. Somebody is asking me a question, how does the concept of moksha or liberation come into picture? So after the destruction of the old world, as you see, it cannot grow any further, all souls will experience moksha or liberation for a short while. That is the inheritance of God. Everybody claims a right over moksha, which is, existing with God in that hometown, which is the home for all souls. So all souls will experience the rest because the actor has been continuously playing its role, births after births, births after births. The soul is tired by the end of Kali Yuga. All souls. It is the same case with each soul. So then all souls for a short while will experience rest. Whether you have experienced God or don't experience God, whether you were in Kali Yuga or you were in Satyug, all souls will have to go back and experience that rest in the soul world. But after a short while, some souls, enter the golden period. A lot of cleansing by then happens when the souls are in the rest period. Lot of ups and downs happens in this planet Earth, and again it comes back to its original pure form where nature is also again in its fresh pure form to serve mankind. Nature is 5 elements are supportive to mankind. When that kind of a situation or that sort of a thing is ready for we souls, then according to the actions performed in Sangam Yoga or in Kali Yuga, the soul enters either the golden, the silver, the copper or the iron age. So the maximum birth a soul takes is 84 births from golden age to the iron age, and some join in the copper age. For them, or the silver age, for them the births would be slightly lesser than 84 births. Some in the copper age, it will be further more less. Many join in the iron age, so for them it would be even more lesser. But the minimum each soul takes, the minimum birth each soul takes in this cycle of 5,000 years is one birth, right? So the ones who are taking one birth are only entering the Kali Yuga, because they have missed all the beautiful scenes of the gold and the silver, the copper period, and they only enter in the Kali Yuga, experience temporary, short-lasting happiness and with a lot of sorrow attached to it. So in that one birth only, that particular soul experience the golden period, the silver, the copper and the iron period. So the minimum one birth, this is how they experience. This is what happens with the soul who takes one birth only. So now what we understand from this picture, or what I want you to understand, is that this is the time to experience God, purify the soul, because in the near future we have to fly back home, and the attitude now is to purify the soul to such an extent, to 100, reach a stage of 100% purity, which is very much a possibility now, so that we get to come in the beginning of the new cycle in the golden period, so that we don't miss the purest level of love, happiness, purity, and knowledge, which is 100% to its peak level, where the entire world, all the souls in the existent in the golden period are in harmony. The nature is also supportive. It's there to provide. It's there to help you out in your dealings, because the nature also is in its purest form. It is serving mankind, whereas now we see nature has come according to the souls, the downfall in the souls. Nature has also come to a point where it has become so impure that it disturbs mankind. Mm. We have been experiencing floods in our city. So what is that symbolizing, or what is that telling us? That now nature is also become impure, because the purity level in the souls have fallen down, as a result of which nature is also become impure, and it is no more helping mankind, but it is disturbing mankind, right? So there are reasons why nature has also come to such a destructive mode, or such a angry mode, because the vices within mankind have grown. As a result of that, the impurity in the soul has increased. So that is the reflection in the five elements or the nature around us. So there are reasons behind that. Okay. So any questions from anybody? Yeah, am I clear up till here? So the confluence age, if you can see the picture. After this, I will keep the session open for questions. The confluence age, as you see that on one hand there is hell, and on the other hand it is heaven, and there is an in-between period where there is a sacrificial fire, like a yagya thing shown. This is where God incarnates in this period called Sangam Yug, taking a human body, and the suggestion given by God is sacrifice the vices within you in this sacrificial fire of yoga or meditation. So in a way, our meditation or our connection with God works like a fire which burns the vices within we souls. Because it is the vices which is creating the sorrow, suffering, and pain in we souls. So now is the time where we have to, in this sacrificial fire of yoga or meditation or connection with God, in this confluence age, we have to finish the vices within us, for which God is also present to help us out. So that we are eligible to go into the golden period, which is the next period. Okay, so this is about the rise and downfall of Bharat and about the confluence age. The story of rise and downfall of Bharat. Yes, any questions from anybody?
Yes, yes, I have a question actually. Uh, it is very nice presentation I heard from you, and but I am confused now because you told in your presentation that
Mm,
the worshipping started in the age of this Iron Age.
that's right.
Huh? But
Yes.
I have seen because whatever I know little bit about the Ramayana and Mahabharata, there are so many ways of doing this worship.
Mm-hmm.
There are scenes and all these. If I see this Mahabharata or Ramayana, always there. So I mean, is bhakti started at the time of Treta Yuga or before that Golden Age, or the,
Mm-hmm.
so little bit confusion is there. So please clarify that.
Yeah, sure. Actually, our next session is about the stories behind Ramayana and Bhagavad or Mahabharat.
Yeah.
So, if I invite you for tomorrow's session, which gives you more insights and clarity as to what the message the story is giving us, and these stories, yeah, it is mythological stories, but we forgot the message behind it, and we caught hold of the images or the characters in the story. But truly speaking, these both stories of Ramayana and Mahabharat, they have a very beautiful message to give. Mm. So tomorrow we will understand the message and why these the stories shown are shown in the copper age and why not in the golden period, because many scriptures have also been telling us that golden age had Ram Sita were there in golden age, or Lakshmi were there in golden age. So you'll get more clarity as to why Ra- Lakshmi Narayan are shown in the golden age and Ram Sita in the Treta Yuga and Dwapar Yuga, and what is the real story about Mahabharat? When did it actually take place, or is it just a story, or did it actually take place also, with some proofs also from many other googled proofs. I can help you out to understand as to how we have arrived to this conclusion. Mm. So for today, uh, any other questions related to today's session? I will definitely clarify on it, because it will take another half an hour or so if I go into it.
Yes, I have a question. So it's all about the soul and not the body.
Yeah, about the soul, but taking bodies. Mm. In this 84 births, we souls have taken many bodies. Let us say if I have taken 84 births, let us say I've started my journey right from the beginning of the golden period. Of course, I have taken 84 bodies. That's understood. Soul without the body cannot function.
So
Has
can
to.
there be a bad soul?
Mm.
Can there be a soul which is not good? So or the soul which carries the vices.
Mm-hmm.
So in that case, who needs to improve? Is it the soul or is it the body? I'm just a little confused between the body and the soul.
It is the soul. It is at the soul level, which is the badness is not in the body. It is in the soul. Mm. Badness comes from the vices within the soul. If we are angry, if we are egoistic, if we are, lot of having attachments or uh, lustful in our deeds, so that makes the soul to be called out as a bad soul, okay, which
So,
is full of vices. Yeah.
so there are times when someone has an unnatural death, maybe an accident, um,
Mhm.
not through an old age, an accident or a premature death. So
Mhm.
does it move to a next person?
Of course, the soul moves on and takes a next birth. Mm.
And
Definitely.
it can go to anyone. The soul goes to um, any person, or does it decide?
Did you attend the first session, Tanushri,
Yes, I did
about the
attend.
soul? Okay.
Yes,
I guess
so
completely. You were there
yes,
completely in
yes, I
that
was there.
session.
But
All
it's
right.
it's just that
I don't mind revising it once again, but I've spoken about it, that the soul enters the next body. That is for sure. And what was your question? Sorry, come again. Can you please repeat for me?
yes, sorry. When someone has a premature death, so the
Mm.
soul moves on to the next body. Does it take the
Yeah,
um the pain? Does it carry
yeah, yeah.
along the pain as well?
See,
Um,
as per the sanskaras within the soul, whether it is good or bad, and
mhm.
again the thoughts, it is from the thoughts where everything starts. Thoughts are the seeds of all actions, and as per the actions, the sanskaras are formed, and the soul carries the impressions of the sanskaras, be it good or bad. So the sanskaras decide your next birth, not just by chance, I am born in a wealthy family, or a well-to-do family, or in a very happy family, or in a very happy environment. It is not happening by chance. It is as per my actions performed, so is my sanskara, and my sanskaras decide my next birth. Let us say this birth of mine is very good, and it is truly very good. I have healthy food to eat. I have a beautiful shelter. I have a very loving family. Everything is going on very well in my present life. So that is a proof to me that my past karma was very good. Now, I can't stop here. I just can't be happy that, okay, everything is good, fine, and then I will not pay attention to my karma in this birth. No, the attitude should be that now I have to improve my karma if I want my next birth to be better than the present one. I still have control over my next birth. Even though, let us say, my present birth is not so good, I have no good relations, I have no money, I have no good food to eat, I'm a beggar on the street, let us say. So my past karma is to be blamed for it, but I still have control over my future. I can still pay attention on my karma in this present birth and see how it changes my present also. Plus, I can design it the way I want it in my future, in my immediate future and in my next birth. That is the future of the soul. Am I clear?
Yes, so it's at the end, it's just that you be good and do good.
Exactly. The karma philosophy, which we are going to discuss tomorrow, and the about the scriptures also about Bhagavad Gita and Ramayana, and what is the secret behind it, or the message given to us behind it. So tomorrow is a very important session, which
Sure.
is karma philosophy. So I invite all of you once again tomorrow to join me in this journey of Rajyoga meditation. So any other questions from anybody, or can we close it with some moments of sister, can I get some written material as I'm forgetting what I listened in my previous sessions? Sure. I will share the link of these written material, or the format of this course. We have some online material available with the sequence shared with you in this course. I can always share. Somebody,
Sister. Thank you, sister.
somebody's somebody's mic is on. Sister, can you help me unmute them? Okay. So I was telling, yeah, I can send, if you can write your name and your contact number in the chat box. Privately also is fine. I will send you via WhatsApp, or email ID is also fine. If you're not on WhatsApp, please email me. I should send you some study material to revise as to what you have heard, with some pictures also. Whatever pictures you have been seeing all these days, the very clear pictorial also is there in this study material I can share. Plus, those who want to join the broadcast group, I mentioned this in my first session. I announced it towards the end of the session that I have created a broadcast group of the participants of this particular foundation course, so that I can send you some good thoughts daily to start your day, and reflect on it from time to time in between, and see the impact of positive thoughts translating into your actions, and then see how these positive actions help you grow as an individual. So one is to share the daily thoughts. If you find it useful, you can still remain in the group, or you can exit from this group. It is your choice. So those who want such daily kind of thoughts can please write your name and your WhatsApp number. Plus, we'll be announcing the events coming in the near future. There are wonderful talks from people across the globe. There are many, many lakhs and lakhs of followers in the Brahma Kumaris, and few thousands of teachers like me and much more senior than me also, who are sharing or giving talks on selective topics. So I can share the flyers of these wonderful talks, which is very, very informative and insightful. So all the flyers would be shared in this broadcast group, so that you can, after this session also, you can know more in depth about, because I have only 1 hour time, whereas the knowledge is quite deep. There's lots to understand. This is on a very, very superficial level, which I've been sharing with you. So all the wonderful speakers across the globe, we have a presence in 130 countries. So all the speakers are now online giving wonderful sessions. I can share these flyers and maybe you can join via Zoom. It is 1.5 hours sessions with some topics which you could relate very well to maybe. So for that reason also, I invite you to join the broadcast group. And later, if you find the information shared is not of your interest, then you can always exit from the group. It's your choice. But do leave your number, WhatsApp number, and your name. Uh, that the number which is projected in the chat box is the number of the broadcast group. You need to save this number in order to receive these daily messages. There is a limitation in broadcast which is not there in WhatsApp. For many security reasons, I have not created a WhatsApp group. Many people are not comfortable with that of late, and some unnecessary information is also going through WhatsApp. That's why we have created, to maintain your privacy also, we have created this broadcast group, but there's a limitation that only if you save our number, which is 988-55-69163 as shown in the chat box. Only when you save our number, you will be able to receive our WhatsApp messages or our messages, daily messages via broadcast. So please make a note of this. And now shall we have some moments of meditation before we close? Yeah. So I suggest just sit back comfortably, relax your body for a few minutes. Keep aside all your worries, your tensions, your concerns. Disassociate yourself with your roles and responsibilities. I close the door of my past. I shut it tightly. I close the door of my future. I shut this door tightly, and I am in the present. In these silent moments, I look at myself. I focus my thoughts in the center of my forehead. I visualize a tiny point of light, the soul, which is separate from this costume called body of mine. I, the soul, I am the master of this instrument. This body is merely an instrument which I am using to solve my purpose in life. I am not the body. I am the being of light, the diamond in this box. I am the pearl in the shell. Look at your body like a shell, and the soul is like the pearl, the most valuable thing in this body. As I see myself as a being of light, I sense a detachment from this costume of mine. I, the soul, am the traveler in time. In this cycle of 5,000 years, I, the soul, have taken many births, crossing the Sun dynasty, the golden period, where I've experienced utmost peak level of happiness, love, bliss, joy, knowledge, purity. And slowly, as time passed by, I, the soul, changing costumes after costumes, as an actor, I came to the Silver Age where I experienced a slight depletion in my powers, but it was still good enough. I was still enjoying all the bliss, the happiness, the beautiful period, the harmony in relationships, and the five elements were serving me. And as I moved on in my journey of life, entered the Copper Age, that's where I started relating to myself as the body. My soul consciousness shifted to the body. I started looking at myself also as a body and everybody around me as a body. And that led to the entry of the vices within the soul. And as these viruses, the five vices, entered the soul, which are lust, greed, attachment, ego, and anger. As a result of these vices, I, the soul, started experiencing sorrow and suffering, and I started calling out to God to help me free myself from these vices, which were foreign bodies to me, causing discomfort to the soul. And in the process of birth and death, the energy within the soul depleted a great deal. I started feeling powerless. I started calling out to God, not knowing who He was truly. I experimented with many ideas of God in the path of devotion from the Copper Age. And as I moved on, taking births after births, entered the Iron Age, that's where my sorrow, suffering went to a next level. I experienced disturbance in the soul, all sorts of discomfortable feeling within the soul because of the power loss within the soul. By the end of Iron Age, I started feeling depleted, hopeless, stressed out, burned out. But now I've moved one step forward from the Iron Age to the Confluence Age, the Sangam Yuga, where I have understood the source of energy. God, my eternal Father, is there for me to extend His helping hand, to uplift me as I have fallen down the ladder. He's there for me 24/7 to bring me back to my original position of being 100% powerful being. And with God, I have the confidence that I shall become from ordinary being to the extraordinary deity which He wants me to or looks up to me to become. And He is capable of making me as well, because it is God, the incorporeal one, who made the deities into powerful beings. So now is the moment to experience the light of God. I visualize a powerful beam of light from the soul region showering on me, removing all the tension within the soul, cleansing the soul, washing out the dark spots on the soul. These powerful laser beams are focused on I, the soul. It is burning the sins within me. It is burning the vices within me, making me lighter, happier, and feeling more powerful. I experience this power within the soul as I associate, connect myself with my eternal Father, Shiv Baba, who's available for me 24/7. As I turn my thoughts towards Him, I can draw the energy from the being of light, which is constantly bestowing His powers and His divine virtues on me. I invite God into this life of mine. I feel His presence around. And slowly I come back to the consciousness of my external world, bringing back with me the experience of lightness, of freedom, of purity. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So this